The Texans should have an incredible starting group of players, but to be a great team, the depth has to take care of you too. Let's take a look at what some of these depth players will look like in the wheel of depth. We'll spin it, and that'll tell us which player we're talking about on the Texans depth chart. This video brought to you by our friends at Urban Furniture. UrbanFurnitureDecor.com is the website. Go look at all the beautiful furniture. Something for everybody. Luxury meets affordability with Urban Furniture. 7909 Hillcroft is the beautiful showroom. Go see them. Tell them Cody Stutes sent you and pick up some gorgeous furniture from traditional to modern, from the latest and greatest to anything you might need for the entirety of your home. Urban Furniture has it. We'll show you some of that beautiful furniture a little bit later in this video. Right now, we're going to show you the wheel, spin it, and talk about who it ends up on. So we've done a few of these videos. If you've missed any of them, then they are in the description down below. Let's start with defensive end Derek Barnett. Barnett was a player that was added to the Texans off of waivers from the Philadelphia Eagles in the later part of last year. And Barnett, I initially didn't feel like he was really going to get on the field that much, and ultimately some injuries to Jonathan Grenard and Will Anderson down the stretch led to some opportunities for Derek Barnett, and he took advantage of those opportunities, played pretty well. He's still a younger guy compared to some of the other defensive ends on this roster. And obviously, Jerry Hughes makes everybody look young. He's been in the NFL forever, it feels like right now. But Barnett, there's still something there that I feel like could get unlocked with this Texans coaching staff, with a offseason with this team and then a training camp with this team. And this coaching staff saw something. Nick Caserio saw something. They identified it last year. He came in the building, had to catch up, get up to speed on everything, and then ultimately he played pretty decently as a backup player. And where he kind of fits in now is that fourth, fifth defensive end for this Houston Texans team, because I don't believe he's going to ever beat out Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson, or Danico Autry. And maybe Barnett spends some time as the third defensive end for this team because Danico Autry bumps into defensive tackle every now and then. But the Texans like to rotate their defensive linemen. Barnett played really well down the stretch. The team brought him back in free agency. And now with a full offseason with the team, he's going to have a full training camp with the team. That's a really nice depth player and a depth piece for this Texans team, especially as much as they like to move around and rotate through those defensive ends. Spinning the wheel to find out who is next in the wheel of depth. Dieter Eisland, not a ton to say about Dieter Eisland here. He is a backup offensive guard for the Texans. The Texans grabbed him from the Bears last year, and he spent most of the year on the active roster for the Texans, kind of a special teams guy. He's in that mix of like, hey, got to make a depth, got to get into the mix for the depth position at the offensive guard spot. I don't believe he can play any center, so he's kind of just a backup guard, and it may be tough for him to find his way onto this roster just because the Texans have a tremendous amount of competition for that left guard spot already with Kenyon Green, Kendrick Green, whoever isn't the starting center between Juice Scruggs and Jaret Patterson. Nick Broker is a younger player that also is a guy that's competing for interior offensive line opportunities. So it may be difficult for Dieter Eisland to make this team. I always would find it funny when people get confused. There was a Michael Dieter and a Dieter Eisland, and that Jeopardy category, like where they smush it together, is what is Michael Dieter Eisland? It would always been something I thought about probably too much last year. Spinning the wheel. Let's go find us another player here on this wheel of depth. Jared Wayne, a wide receiver for the Houston Texans, and he has a tough job as well, just like Dieter Eisland, to make this team or even hang around in the practice squad conversation. Now, Wayne had a moment or two in OTAs where he stood out, and he's healthy now after an injury robbed him last year. And so interested to see what he can bring to the table. There's not a lot of hope, I would think, if you're Jared Wayne, about making the 53-man roster. But if you're Wayne, you're hoping to stick around this organization, stick around on the practice squad. If the opportunity pops up, they could promote you from the practice squad because somebody's banged up or injured or something like that. Then there you go. You're on your way to having an opportunity. Wayne is not a huge player, but he's not a small guy. He's not super fast. Again, he had a couple of nice plays there in OTAs, and let's see what he can do in training camp with the opportunities. Because, look, I don't know that you need a lot of Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins in every single practice for this Texans team. You've got all these extra workouts because you've got a longer training camp than everybody except for the Bears. It could be an opportunity for a guy like Jared Wayne to put his stamp and make a statement on his opportunity to be a practice squad player. The wheel spins again. Let's see who else is coming our way. How about a defensive end? How about the old fella, Jerry Hughes? I say old in an affectionate way because he has a ton of experience at the NFL level. Obviously, being with this Texans team for a few seasons, they brought him back recently. And he's in there to push some of these young guys. He's in there to impart knowledge. And he's in there in case a guy like Dylan Horton is not an option for the Houston Texans in 2024. Jerry Hughes had a little bit of juice in his time here in Houston. He was the third defensive end last year. I would tell you at best, he's going to be about the fifth defensive end this year. So again, this is a theme we've talked about with this Texans team. They take a guy who was a key contributor. They move him down the depth chart by adding talent. And that's Jerry Hughes. And look, Hughes is an older guy, but the veteran experience, using him in a very limited role from time to time, maybe is a way that you see him used if he makes the active roster. I don't know that he's going to make the active roster. This is a pretty hefty competition when it comes to defensive ends. And obviously, if by some chance Dylan Horton is going to be able to play and he can showcase something, I would lean more towards potential than age and experience when it comes to Horton versus Hughes. But Jerry Hughes going to be in training camp, going to have an opportunity to hang around for another year in the NFL with this Texans team. And he knows the system from last year. And Will Anderson has talked at length about how important it was to have Jerry Hughes. So maybe Hughes has a little bit more knowledge to impart on a guy like Will Anderson. He can catch Danielle Hunter up to speed on the way that this defense works. And if Dylan Horton is indeed going to be able to practice, then bam, Jerry Hughes becomes a great mentor for Dylan Horton. It's a fun opportunity for a guy like Hughes, who I thought was pretty well done with football when last season ended. So that's spinning the wheel to figure out who we're talking about next. Don't spin the wheel when it comes to figuring out where your furniture is going to come from. Urban Furniture has just beautiful, incredible, glorious furniture. Look at this stuff. Urban Furniture and Decor has something for everybody, specializing in furniture from Turkey, but having something for every taste, from modern to traditional. Luxury meets affordability at Urban Furniture. The beautiful showroom at 7909 Hillcroft is where you can go see it in person. But you can also browse anything and everything that they've got at urbanfurnituredecor.com. You will not believe these prices. And this furniture is sturdy stuff. I'm a big fella. I've broke my fair share of furniture. This stuff is long lasting. It's not just luxury because it looks nice. It's luxury because it lasts for a long time. From bedrooms to dining rooms to living rooms to small accents to whole new houses, Urban Furniture and Decor will take care of you. Check them out at the website, urbanfurnituredecor.com, or visit the beautiful showroom at 7909 Hillcroft. Tell them Cody Stutes sent you. Look at that furniture. It's glorious. Glorious furniture. You got to check them out. The website's beautiful. The prices will blow your mind in a good way as well. The wheel is getting thinner and thinner as we go through some more and more results. More and more players. We just talked about a defensive end. We're getting another one. This is the big boss, I call him, on the defensive end. The way that this team has talked about Danico Autry, from Nick Caserio just gushing and saying he'd take Autry into a back alley fight with him, to the compliments that D'Amico Ryans has had about him, to the way that Will Anderson said that Denico Autry sets the tone. We just talked about Jerry Hughes, so it's great that we talk about Denico Autry because he's the guy that takes Jerry Hughes' spot as that third defensive end behind Danielle Hunter and behind Will Anderson. Autry's actually arriving to the Texans at the same age that Jerry Hughes arrived to the Texans. He's coming off of a really productive season for the Tennessee Titans. Can play inside, can play outside, double-digit sack guy last year. Violence, just doesn't mess around. When we talked to him during the spring portion, training camp OTAs, mini camp OTAs portion of the offseason schedule, he was just a no-nonsense, all business, let's get to it type of guy when it comes to football. I'm very excited to see what Autry can do, implemented as a specialized defensive tackle on pass rush downs, and then being a guy that spells Danielle Hunter or Will Anderson. He's big, he's nasty, he's mean. He can do it all along the defensive line, and he is a fantastic addition. Again, we talked about it. You take those depth pieces that the Texans had last year, you improve the quality of player, you add to the length of the roster, and Denico Autry is the best example of a depth player was here last year, and now they're here when it comes to the level of talent and potential production from that player. So Denico Autry is a guy that I'm very excited to see in training camp. I'm very excited to see what he can bring to the table over the course of the season as that rotational pass rusher and that rotational specialized defensive tackle. He is a really, really solid piece of depth on this Texans team, and maybe one of the best depth pieces on the entirety of the roster. As you start to think about where the best depth player is, he starts thinking of who the starters are. Wide receiver takes the cake, because if you're only starting two wide receivers, then either Tank Dell or Nico Collins or Stephon Diggs is the top piece of depth. But as far as defense goes, this is the best depth player on the Houston Texans. That's Denico Autry, and he is going to be a force as a third defensive end for this Texans team. What say you about these defensive end heavy spins of the wheel of depth? Let me know in the comment section down below. We can talk about that because the comment section always stays live after the videos. What do you think? Denico Autry, best depth piece on the Houston Texans? If he's not, let me know who it is in the comment section down below. Don't forget to visit our friends at Urban Furniture and Decor. I mean, let me show you the video just one more time, just to show you how beautiful all this furniture is at Urban Furniture and Decor. Luxury meets affordability, and that's not just a slogan. That's what they mean. This gorgeous, beautiful furniture that they can get from all over the world, inspired from things all over the world, could be in your home. Everything from your traditional stuff to your new, modern, incredible stuff, inspired by international brands from Turkey, Italy, all across the world. It could be yours. Dining room sets, accent pieces, living rooms, your whole home. Urban Furniture and Decor has it all. The gorgeous showroom at 7909 Hillcroft. The website is where you can see everything, and you will not believe the prices on the website. They're right there on the website. How many places are showing you exactly how much you're going to pay right there on the website? Not many. The service is fantastic. The products are even better. You can't miss it. Urban Furniture and Decor. UrbanFurnitureDecor.com is the website. Tell them Cody Stutes sent you when you sneak by the showroom at 7909 Hillcroft. You can't miss it. Sturdy furniture, man. Beautiful stuff. Been looking for some new bedroom stuff myself. I may have to sneak over there and get me a new headboard, a new base for my bed. And it's about that time, because these big fellas, okay, you're a big fella like me, the furniture, luxury, not just looks good, it's sturdy. I could bust a couch quicker than anybody. Not this stuff, man. I could sit on it for years. All right, check them out, UrbanFurnitureDecor.com. and the beautiful showroom, 7909 at Hillcroft. Check them out. Tell them Cody Stutes sent you. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. And I can't wait until we talk Texans again soon.